Hey guys, welcome back. It's Shelby and today we are doing a really cool craft, and it is a remake of a craft that I did a couple years ago for my room, several years ago now, and I don't actually have the original one, but I thought it was cool then, I think it's cool now, and I want to share it with you guys. So this is actually a smaller version of the craft I did, just because it's easier and takes less time for the channel. What you're gonna need are clear ornaments that stack together. I'll link the kit I got from Amazon below in the description along with my socials if you want to find out that one, because it was a really perfect set for this particular craft. So they just kind of come like this, they're the halves, and they click together into a full little clear Christmas ball. And the set I got came with a bunch of different sizes. So we have large, medium, smaller, medium, and then like itty bitty ones. So yeah, these are kind of perfect, and basically what they're going to be are bubbles. So we're gonna make a bubble chandelier. Like if you have like a mermaid room or an under the sea themed room, this is so cool. As you know, I'm obsessed with sharks, so for a while I had shark posters all over my room, and then I had a bubble chandelier, and it was really cool just to have like these bubbles coming up, and it kind of gave the illusion of being underwater, and it was really fun. So I have just a wreath holder. These are super cheap and easy to find, and you can paint it whatever color you want. If your ceiling's white, maybe paint it white. If you're doing like a blue and green theme room, the green it comes with is perfect. Just whatever makes most sense for you. The bubbles, I kind of like being clear just because they're bubbles, or you could put like maybe a pale blue glaze on them if you want. I've never done that for this type of craft, but thinking about it, it could be cool. So yeah, the idea is we're going to be suspending different size bubbles from the chandelier. This you can attach to the ceiling, you can attach it over a light, or because it's got the circle in there, if you have a lamp that kind of hangs over, you know, like the lamps that hang over, you can take off the shade, put this on there, and then it'll kind of like do the light and then the bubbles coming down. That's what I did with mine. I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. So that's what we're doing today. Like I said, I'll link everything you need down in the description below along with my socials, and we'll get right into it. So the first thing we want to do is set up our bubbles. For no reason whatsoever, I've decided to do 3 of each. Super easy. You've got your little sides and they just click together like this. And you've got your clear little ornament. They do, both sides have a tab, so just kind of make sure the tab lines up, and that's really the only thing to watch for. They do tend to roll around once you've put them together, so kind of keep that in mind too. One thing I did notice with this pack is that there are different, ooh, that one went fine. They're stacked like this, and one side of them are here and the other side are down here. It's not either or, so if you pull it out like either or and you're like, oh my god, they don't fit together, they do. You're just grabbing from the same side probably. Grab 2 halves from 2 opposite sides of the pile and likely they will snap together for you. Now we've got our bubbles all made. It's time to grab some thread. Fishing line works best, or if you lost yours like I did, just choose a pale sewing thread. Cut yourself a fair amount of it. Tie it on the ends. Now you have a giant loop of thread. Yes, you can do these individually, but that takes a long time, so why bother? Next up, we are going to loop, basically thread the needle with the thread and the loop of the ornament. Bring both sides up, cross the loop through, just like that, so that it is hanging on the bottom of the ornament. So decide which way you want your wreath to go. This one has a slight bend in it. It doesn't really matter, just kind of choose. And then unspin your ornament that got all spun up. And once that's unspun, there we go. We're just gonna loop it through and tie it off. So I like to do the largest bubbles on the very bottom because I think that, I don't know, if you're down there and you're blowing bubbles, like it's the largest bubbles coming out of your mouth, and then like they get smaller and break apart as they go up. So I think that looks most realistic. And I'm going to kind of eyeball it as to where I want this bubble to lie. I think I want it about right there, so I'm just gonna tie it off. Here we go. So just tie a couple knots. There's not a whole lot of weight to these ornaments, so don't worry about trying to make it too heavy duty as far as a knot goes. Just go ahead and get one tied, and it should look something like that. So you've got your larger bubble down at the bottom near where whoever blowing the air, the animal, the mermaid, whatever is blowing it, It's gonna be larger and they're gonna get smaller as they go up, but this is about the right size for the size of wreath holder. If you get a bigger one, you can use lots of large ornaments. You can make it massive, but for a small little wreath like we're doing, this is about the right size. So you've got one bubble tied up. Just go ahead and collect your thread and snip it near the top. The great part about doing it this way is your thread is already ready to tie another bubble on. So what we're gonna do is just tie the ends. So now that the thread is tied on both ends, you have a loop. Go ahead and grab another. I want to do a large ornament. I know it's gonna hang a little bit shorter than the first one. That's what I want, but it's still pretty far down the chandelier, and so I want my larger bubbles down there. Thread the needle, open up the loop, grab the other thread, pull it through so that your bubble is just hanging there. And then we're going to do the fancy way. Loop it over one bar, keep the loop open the way we did to, if I can get them unspun, there we go. Loop it over your bar, bring your loop down, and just swing it around the bubble there, and then you don't have to tie it off, and it just kind of stays. These two are pretty similar height. If you don't like that, you can do it a little bit shorter. I'm gonna do my next one probably up here or quite a bit longer, but like I said, I want my big ones towards the bottom. So now we are going to get another loop of thread and keep going. So this one I want a little shorter, so I'm going to tie it there. Clip off the extra thread, pretty close to the knot if you can. Tie another knot in the thread, and we're just going to continue the process. That's the whole process to get all of the bubbles attached. Next up, we want our medium ornaments, so I'm going to grab a medium one. So we have large, medium, medium small, and small. So 12 of them in total. I did hang the larger ornaments around the center loop of my wreath holder. I do have 4 holders. I'm not doing, you know, biggest ones and the smallest and like smaller ones out. I am going to be kind of varying them, but since we are trying to make it realistic to like breathing up and out, larger ones at the bottom in the center concentrated near the source of the air, and then bigger and expanding as they go out. It just kind of works that way. But this one I also want in a center ring, so it's going to be kind of out more, maybe the second ring, I think. I'll just tie it right here, just like that. So I'm going to speed up the process here, but I wanted you guys to see what I was doing because I think it's helpful to see it with the different bubbles and just how to hold it and tie everything off. But you can really see it coming together. The more bubbles you add with the different sizes, it looks really, really good when the bubbles aren't all the same size. So this is the last ornament that goes on before I put on the baby ornaments. And it's looking really, really good so far. Like absolutely amazing, just how I remember it. I really do love this craft. This was so much fun to make originally, and I really did love it. I actually brought it with me to like the next 3 moves of places I went just because it was such a fun feature, and it is customizable and variable and changeable as far as how you want to hang it. I hung it on one of those little hanging lamps for a while. I had it hung up on my ceiling for a while because it is lightweight. You can just put it up on a hook up there. And at one point I just hung it off the top of a desk that I had hanging down. Like I was sitting under a desk and I had stuff above me, and I just hung it off there, and it was just a really cool piece to have, and I kept it with me for a couple years. So yeah, I'm really excited to be bringing back those memories because it was such a cool little piece. We are on to our small, tiny little bubbles, which means we're almost done. I have another 3 to hang, and then we can show off the final piece. And if you want to add more bubbles to this, I suggest more of the smaller ones because they can really fill out the whole piece and make it look really great and not like be clunky the way the big ones can. So I just have a couple more. I want one to hang here because that's where I'm missing, and then maybe one up here. So a long one and a short one, and we're done. There we go, you guys. So this is the final result. This is how it looks. It's so beautiful. It's super, super cool. Like you can see just the reflections of the lights and the bubbles, and from any distance, they really don't look like ornaments. They look like bubbles just hanging there, and it's super, super fun. They sway a little bit. It's just magical. Like I love, love, love this craft.
Super easy to hang up. I'm not gonna really go over that because depending on how you mount it, depends on how you want it hung up. Worst case scenario, just tie a cross of like a little X of your cord, fishing line, thread, whatever you use, and then you can use a little Christmas hook to hang it up on a hook. You can tape it up somewhere, you can mount it, you can do whatever you want. So I'm not gonna go into that too much detail, but look how fun and cute this is. I really love this craft. I love the memory lane trip that it took me down, and it's just so much fun, and I hope you guys like it too. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you here again soon. Bye for now.